like that. Day 2 of the Qatar Goodwood Festival is Wednesday, and we're going to start with the feature, the Qatar Sussex Stakes. Just the 6 in it, because we don't have Nostrum, and we've got Paddington in there at 1.5, Inspired is 5.5, Aldari 13.0, Facteur Cheval is 21.0, Bigger Price is the final pair. So, Steve, I know you're Paddington no bet. I think we all think Paddington's going to win. Dees, I think you and I are playing it a similar sort of way. So this Aldari, I think he wants soft ground. If there's rain on Tuesday night and it's officially soft on the Wednesday, he was backed so well last time in the race. He was second into Master of the Seas, but the ground had quickened up again. I think he wants genuinely soft ground. I think he's worth another chance. A weight of money came from last time, so I'll probably be backing Paddington, Aldari forecast, Aldari without the favourite. And that's how I'll do it. Dees.
Yeah, you just made the case there. I'm just going to go for the straight forecast. Paddington first and Aldari second. I just think Inspire will hate the ground if it's soft. That's my main angle into it. I think Paddington has a huge class edge in them. I don't think Inspire will like it. I've kind of operated on it being soft ground on Wednesday, real soft. The weather app I use is, so there's loads of rain coming. Even during the day Wednesday it'll be lashing. So I think by 3:30 there could be plenty of it gotten into the ground, and I think Inspire will hate it, and Aldari is my best bet to come second, and you'll get a better price back in the straight forecast than you would backing it without. Forecast.
There you go. Forecast now available on Matchbook. Do you want to add anything, Steve? You absolutely don't have to.
Someone said to me at the weekend, I think Paddington's better than August Rodan. And I think you're probably right. So I don't expect him to bomb out like the favourite for the King George. And I think there might be kind of a weird kind of association that might happen because it happened to a different horse. And I don't subscribe to that. I think Paddington's very good.
All right, 150, we're going to go back, is more of a betting heat. Amleto is 5.5, Westerton is 7.5, Fox Journey 8.5, Tagabawa is 9.5, 10.0, and Bigger the rest. Steve, straight back at you. Hello.
I've got so many pages open, I couldn't work out how to mute myself. So, and I'm all confused now. First race on Wednesday, Tagabawa of Godolphins. And
good section there.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be edited, hopefully, by our producer who's had a heavy night after the All Ireland. But Tagabawa's top weight, but I think that if it does rain, this horse will handle softer ground. And it's the half brother Manobo, with very good horse who won group races in France and Maidan for Godolphin on soft ground, and Tagabawa's by New Approach as well, so really good pedigree. And the 2 runs on turf is 2 from 3 on the all weather, but 2 runs in turf. First time up at Ascot over 1.5 miles in the King George, the handicap at Royal Ascot. Just sat too close to it was run at a furious pace. And William Buick was quite keen to get from a middleish draw. He was quite keen to get a prominent position and kind of put the accelerator down early on Tagabawa to do that. And they just went way too hard. And although he was about in the kind of 3rd or 4th band back, he was still too close to the pace. And considering this horse got himself involved, and I think was still second with a furlong and a half to run, I think that was a huge performance in that race, and dropped back to maybe they thought they didn't get home in the King George, but I think it was just solely because they went so hard, and so they dropped him back to 10 furlongs. He didn't have a great draw at Newmarket July meeting and just couldn't really get into it. He did get to the front sort of 3 out, but was soon brushed aside, and it didn't really pan out for him. I think he's got a decent race in him, this horse. So Tagabawa for me in the first.
On a line through that Ascot run, I think both he and Perfuse is the other one, just exactly as you're saying, Steve, did too much up top. And then Perfuse was in this race.
They sat a very similar position, didn't they?
Yeah.
Perfuse, and they did everything together, sort of thing, because they both got into a challenging position. I think Perfuse actually got to the front a furlong and a half out with Tagabawa kind of challenging him, and then the horses that were ridden way back just came flying through. I would make those two probably the best horses in that race.
And Perfuse runs, I think, on Thursday over 10. I'd rather they were sticking to a mile and a half for all the reasons Steve said, but there you are. I think he's well worth keeping an eye out for. I'm putting up French Invasion. When you get more than one Johnston runner in the race, they tend to dictate it up top, and I think that those three are the most likely pace angles, and they tend to stay there. This horse is a bit of an unknown quantity at 10.0. He was disappointing on the face of it, having been keen, and then not getting a run, although he wouldn't have won at Southwell last time. He's been off for a while. I don't know why. He's just the sort of... He was 2 from 2 prior to that. He's just the sort of profile that I thought could easily be better than a mark of 85. And I don't know if he had a problem, but maybe they've just kept him off. They like his mark, and they just kept him off for a meeting that they really like. So French Invasion at 10.0 for me, DC.
Yeah, everything you said there. French Invasion as well. I took he was 17.0 last night, so I had a little small bet in him. So I'm after getting the value already. Frankie was dropped up in him early, so that was just an eye catching one. I know he'd shortened based on that, and the fact that he won his first 2 races so well. I mean, there was no easing him into it or protecting the mark. And the 2 horses that beat him the last time, the 2 James Tate horses, are rated in the 90s now. So, again, you're never going to go too broke back in the Johnson horses at Glorious Goodwood. He's short enough now, and this is quite an open race. But I'm happy with him. Happy with him. I think he can run a big race.
GLN said, "Is this today's races they're talking about?" Well, if you're joining us live, we're on Wednesday, and we started off talking about Tuesday. Just so you know, we're not doing anything today. But this is Wednesday. Simon says there's a good stat with Haggis horses running again within 28 days. Well, you need to tell us more, please, Simon, because I want to know what the stat is. And then I'll verify it independently. But thank you. Do let us know what that is. We roll on. Dees, I promise I won't go first if we've tipped up the same horse again, because I think I've done that throughout the podcast. Apologies. The Whispering Angel Oak Tree Stakes. Whispering Angel is very nice. But the Rock Angel is my favourite variety, if anyone's interested. Fast Response is 6.5. Jumbly is 6.5. Breege 9.0. Matilda Picot 10.0, as is White Moonlight. I'll come straight back to you, Dees.
This was a very conditions-based pick. I think she Fast Response last time she at the start of the season she finished second to Vadream and bottomless ground at Doncaster, and lastly at Chester again she came from last almost the first, flew home again through and soft ground at Chester. I think she was third favourite when I was over this last night. She's been backed in on decks. I can just all her best form is on soft. I think it's going to be soft ground, and she's a nice horse. I was very close to look at White Moonlight as well, but I just think that the conditions might go against her.
You mentioned Dream of Love. Mind a tentative selection. I'll only back her if I've had a good day, or if I've had a good Tuesday, because she's not one to hang your hat on. But 11.0. If you go back to that Morge run at Maidan on soft ground, my goodness me, that was outrageously good. And then it's all gone to pot since then. But there's a good horse in there, and I didn't want to play at the top of the market. I can't say much more than that. It's tentative. Steve?
I thought you were going to go for International Angel, because you seem to know all about angels, Rock Angel and Whispering Angel and International. So I was surprised by that. Anyway, I'm going to go for White Moonlight, who I think is a very progressive horse. And in her last 2 starts, she beat Heredia at Musselburgh in June on Derby Day. And then next time, very straightforward, another listed win, made all the running, looked very good, beating Queen Animatu, who has got a good record on the all-weather and had the likes of Heredia again and International Angel, your horse. behind. Has got form on easy ground, and I just think is very progressive for a yard that remain in good form side. Ben Soroy doesn't have a huge amount of runners these days, but they're running really well. And Oisin Murphy in the saddle, I think this might be too hot to handle. White Moonlight, I think she's going forward at a rate of knots, and although she's 6, she's probably more progressive than a lot of them in there.
3 o'clock is the Malcolm. Killian is 3.0 off the back of a monster performance, really, given where he came from at Sandown. Big Evs, the Windsor Castle winner, is 4.0, 9.0 Chagrin, 10.0 and bigger the rest. I'll start because Bahir is my best bet of the day, who was a beaten nearly money shot on debut. Richard Hannon said you could have knocked him over with a feather when he was beaten on debut because he thought he was their best ever juvenile at home, which is quite a statement. He then was really well back to win on his second start of the track, and Judy did, and he absolutely smashed them. Now, I think it's interesting they're coming back in distance because he was in the 6th furlong race as well, the Richmond, but he shows so much speed. And off the back of that run last time, I think he's priced up because he was beaten on debut as well as his win last time. 12.0. I think he's got a better chance than that. So I'll be backing him win and place. DC.
I am going for Barnwell Boy. He is a course when he was I think given off second favourite for that Windsor Castle. There was a lot of it's back in the day as well. There was a lot of confidence behind him, but he just ran absolutely stink that day. It's more of a price thing than anything. Killian looks to be a good one. Adele actually said on his debut York that this is one of Carl's best 2-year-olds, and he was beaten. I think I can see him probably Barnwell Boy again. I think he just come back to form here. He's been freshened up for this, and as I said before, they target this meeting, so I'm hoping that he just be in better form and can hit the frame.
Steve.
Yeah, I think if the rain is around and it's heavy at Goodwood on Wednesday, this could be an interesting race because there's a few at the top of the betting or towards the top of the betting here that I wouldn't want on there. I thought Big Evs, if it stayed decent, had a right chance, and might be the horse that finally takes Mick Appleby into the big time because he deserves to, because he's a superb trainer. But I just worry about the ground for Big Evs. And I thought Purasong of Andrew Boulding's won very, very well first time up. It was a really impressive first performance and just did too much in front when on second start in the July Stakes over 6 furlongs. So dropping back to 5 furlongs on easier ground, that should be okay. I think Purasong's got a really good chance, and I'm never a big fan of horses that go straight from one impressive performance in the maiden or novice and then straight into a Group 2 race like the July Stakes. So I think that experience will have done Purasong the world of good and makes him in the Morecambe very, very interesting at around 10.0.
So your friend David Yates, off the back of his Italian lessons, tells me that it's puro sangue.
He would know. He would know. I'm glad that you've been talking pronunciations with him. Your wife must love you of an evening.
It's Italian for thoroughbred. And
is that right? Good knowledge. Good knowledge.
It's the Ferrari image, I think.
I shan't tell you the only reason why, or one of the reasons why Dave Yates has that. It speaks Italian. It's nothing to do with the Italian teacher he's got. I'm assured. Yeah, I'm assured of
that. Puro sangue. There we are.
Puro sangue. Yeah.
Moving on to the. Oh no, we're done there, aren't we? We got. It's time for our Matt. No, any other bets? Any other bets? I got nothing. You two are looking at the 520. I don't even know what the 520 is, gentlemen. It's the Whirlpool Handicap. Take it away, Dees.
I didn't even know what price this horse is yet, no, but Classic kind of caught my eye in that. He finished second to the Foxes on the Saturday of Goodwood last year, and then won next time out on soft ground, beating Obelix. And they threw him into the Greenham at the start of the year behind Isaac Shelby, but he's come down in grade steadily since then. But I thought he mightn't have trained on at all. But he won last time at Sandown, beating Novus. He's obviously come back to form. He is in here off. He's a nice weight. I just thought he was an interesting one. He's a bit unexposed in three against a few other horses here. So depending on price, I'll have a little win place betting him.
12.0.
Lovely.
Compared to the 9.0 about Urban Sprawl, Steve.
Yeah, this is a proper Mark Johnson stroke. Now Charlie Johnson, Goodwood horse. Ran a shocker last time when odds on last of 6. It's at Newmarket. Can't possibly win off the back of that, but we've seen it so many times with horses from this stable. One poor run, bounce back to their best. And I'd say that last run at Newmarket is easily excused as well, because it came just a week after Urban Sprawl finished third in the Britannia at Royal Ascot. So it was quick enough after such a huge performance there. And nice break since. Had the best, more than a month off the track, freshened up. And if you go back to the Goodwood win in May, that showed you that this horse, A, likes the track, and B, is capable of a right good bit of form. Had the likes of Dark 30 and Classic in behind in that race. And after that, it bombed out at Epsom, then bounced back at Ascot, bombed out again at Newmarket. And a meeting that this yard has an exceptional record in, especially in handicaps. I'm thinking that Urban Sprawl's going to bounce back to his best, and if he does that, he's got a right chance. I think this is a right Goodwood plot for the Johnstons.
All right, that's Urban Sprawl and Classic. 2 shouts for that last contest. Reminder at Matchbook Zero, we're going to come to the Matchbook Zero long shots now. Market live at 10 a.m. Most likely to get best odds, and there's no limits on your bets. Matchbook Zero, so get over there and take advantage of that. Most likely to be getting the best odds, given the zero margin, zero commission. Mine is Bahia in the Mulcombe for reasons I've already given. Steve, who's yours?
Well, I didn't have anything at a massive price, so I'm going to stick Pura Songe in there, who's 10